Hey everybody, it's me, Zach. This is Potato, and welcome back to our channel. Hey everybody, hello, hi. I don't really feel like there's like a good way to make this video, to talk about this video, to have this discussion, but this past weekend, Judy passed. We said goodbye to her on Sunday, and it was a very hard thing to do and to see happen, and yeah, I feel like I don't have the words to share all the feelings that I've had over this past weekend and over this time. Judy was such a large part of my life. She came into my life at a time that I really needed like a friend and successfully was a friend to me for 5 years. I adopted her while I had this channel. I had already kind of had a following here, and so her and I's story together has been, documented over time here, and I'm really grateful for that she's been a part of my YouTube channel and of my my time here. You can go back and even see, and I'll try to like leave a link to some of my favorite Judy Lou moments, which would include the very first video I ever made with her. Would also include a time where I made a 20-minute long video, and it's just her sitting in this chair, and there's just Animal Crossing music playing, and she's just looking around, and she's getting comfy, and she's just like enjoying the things that she enjoyed the most, which was like being cute and relaxing. Being cute and relaxing. But yeah, I guess to give you a little background into what happened, the last time we took her to the groomer, which was like, I don't know, like 2 weeks ago, maybe at this point, 2-ish weeks ago, when she got groomed. Well, it had been a while since she had gotten groomed because there was an issue the time before that I had taken her and Poe to the groomer, and she was just so anxious, and she just would not let the groomer even get close to her, and so we like worked on upping some like trazodone dosages for her so that she could just like be comfortable and get groomed, because also like I felt like she was also going to eventually be uncomfortable if we couldn't like get her a proper haircut and things like that. And she's been having like some dry eye issues, and I felt like all the like hair surrounding her eyes was like making that worse. It was just like we just were doing our best to get her to the groomer. So we finally got her to the groomer. She was on trazodone, good enough to let the groomer do her thing and give her a proper cut. And whenever I got her back from the groomer, I looked at her and I was just like, oh my gosh, you are so skinny. Like I was just like taken so far aback by how skinny she looked. And I was reflecting, and I was like, it seems like in recent history she hadn't been eating as much, but sometimes that's just because she's like gets so focused on her brother's food bowl that she would ignore her own, and like we've been working to get her to like only focus on her own food whenever they're eating dinner and things like that. And so I hadn't thought much about it, but then I was like, well, I'm worried. So we ended up getting her a vet appointment. It was for last week, last Thursday. It was also around the time anyways that she needed to get just like regular blood work and wellness checks done. And so they did a full blood work thing. One thing that I don't know that I ever explicitly shared on here, but I'm sure I've talked about it on Twitch and maybe other platforms, but like a year or two ago, she was diagnosed with like kidney disease, but it was very low level kidney disease at that time. So we had switched out her food for a kidney friendly diet, to help her out with that. And When the blood work from this past week came back, she had very elevated kidney values in her blood work, to the extent that the vet called me. I was literally working out with my trainer, and I got a call from the vet, and they were like, we suggest that she get admitted to the hospital so that she can get some fluids in her, and hopefully we can bring the kidney values down. Like I said, at that point, like, her eating was so inconsistent. Actually, all of last week, like, I was switching up things with her diet to, like, try to add, I added, like, chicken broth to it to, like, try to make it taste better for her. We added peanut butter to it one day. And eventually I just started cooking her boiled chicken last week because she just wouldn't eat her just regular kidney food, but was excited to eat chicken. So we took her to an animal hospital, and they admitted her, and she stayed overnight, and we went and visited her the next day, and they felt that day on Saturday, so we admitted her on Friday. On Saturday they felt very hopeful that she was doing better-ish. Her values were still very high when they kept running more blood work, but one thing that had changed is that she was wanting to eat, and she was, like, moving around more. We went and visited her on Saturday, and we just sat in a room with her for like an hour, and she was, like, moving around the room, coming up to us. She ate some food while we were there with her, and when we talked to the vet that day, he had basically said that, uh, dogs that had her level of kidney values, it is, like, very concerning, but he felt like a lot of dogs don't typically also have, like, the appetite that she ended up having, or the like stamina and, like, the wandering and inquisitiveness that she had when we were there, and she was kind of, like, walking around the room we were in and stuff like that. So I felt really hopeful on Saturday. Although at different points, both on, like, Friday when we initially took her there and Saturday, when we visited, they talked to us very explicitly about, like, also, this is probably a sign that, like, she's getting towards the end of her life, that, like, there's not going to be much more time, and really probably need to just be focusing on, like, if we can get her home, like, how we can make the, like, rest of her life as best as we can. There was lots of discussion about, like, us giving her subcutaneous fluids, and she's probably going to be on a lot of medicines and things like that. So anyways, I was feeling optimistic on Saturday that we would get to bring her back home. And unfortunately, on Sunday, they called in the morning and told us that she had pretty dramatically shifted. She wasn't able to, like, support herself. She wasn't able to eat, or she wasn't eating. I don't know if it was a matter of she was able, she just wasn't. And they had a lot of concerns about her shift in her demeanor. So we went back again to visit on Sunday, and just seeing her, she was not doing well. They were pumping her full of, like, the most fluids that they could do. That she was at, like, 30 millimeters or milliliters. I'm sorry, I don't, the units, the numbers. It was like 30 milliliters, I think, of fluid per hour. And they said that was a lot for a dog as small as she was. And they said that, I was hoping we'd get to take her home, even if it did mean us, like, giving her the, like, subcutaneous fluids and stuff. And they said, there probably wouldn't be a world where she could do that at home because like the amount of fluid that she would need, there'd be literally no way for us to give that to her subcutaneously. Like, she really needed to be like on an IV of fluids. And then they also started talking to us about, realistically, like, they just didn't think she was gonna make it through Monday night, and that she might make it through Monday night if they kept pumping her full of fluids, but that it probably wouldn't last much longer than that. And so, yeah, we made the decision to help her pass peacefully. We stayed with her while it happened. I love Judy so much, and I'm very sad that she's no longer with us. Like I said, she's just like, she was with me through so much. I lived, despite like dating Noel during the pandemic, like I lived alone still, and having to experience like the lockdown and stuff, living alone was like a terrifying thing, and having Judy with me on a daily basis to comfort me through that time just meant everything to me. And then having her here with me on the YouTube has also just meant everything. And I know she means a lot to so many of you. I've been like going through Instagram stories. I'm actually working on, I'm not very far into this, but I'm working on going through my old Instagram stories and just creating like highlights from any time that she showed up on my Instagram stories. But even doing that, like, you know, I've seen where people tagged me and they shared like your pets being like so fascinated on this little corner of the screen where Judy was sitting, and they were just so excited to see what Judy was up to every day. I've also seen just like so much like artwork people drew of Judy Lou, and it just has like really warmed my heart and touched me. I've always known that she's meant so much to also the people in my audience, and I just really appreciate that, and I'm just so glad that she could touch y'all's lives like she touched mine. And yeah, I don't know. I hope all of this makes sense and that it's not just me like blabbering. I imagine I not imagine. I want to get back to doing some like regular content and things like that. I mean, I know she only just passed on Sunday, but I also feel like I'm losing my mind just sitting around my house not doing a lot, and I don't think that's productive for me or my mental health. And so I do want to get back to posting some stuff and streaming on Twitch. So expect that fairly soon because I feel like I'm losing my mind, and I don't think it helps me to just sit around and do nothing. So I hope that makes sense that I'm gonna come back and start some of that up again. Yeah, I'm just like, I feel like there were other things I wanted to share with y'all. I guess, you know, one thing I anticipate is that future videos there will be comments of people asking where's Judy or what happened to Judy. And I just anticipate that because that happened when Judy stopped appearing in videos as often and she was perfectly fine. So if y'all could just help me in like respectfully answering those people's questions in case I don't see them or don't feel up to answering them, I'd really appreciate that. And yeah, I don't know. Thanks for making making Judy feel loved over all this time. I know people are really going to miss her, and I'm going to really miss her, and Noel's going to really miss her. And I don't know, maybe Poe will. Maybe Poe will. I just have been thinking a lot about Poe and Judy's relationships, and he was like such an annoying little brother to her. I sometimes, I was telling Noel, like sometimes I feel bad that we brought we brought him into her life, because he would just bug her and pester her. And I'm just like, I hope she doesn't resent us for that. I know she didn't, but yeah, we brought home like they gave her a little sweater while she was in the hospital, and we brought it back and we let like Poe sniff it, and I hope that he's also at peace. It's just like, here's the thing, I just wish honestly that I could know what either of my dogs are thinking at any given time. Like, parts of me wonder, if I could have found out something was wrong with Judy sooner, had I been able to like know her thoughts at any given moment. And sometimes I'm just like, Poe, what are you thinking? Do you miss your sister? Are you okay? He's been getting love bombed by me and Noel. He's getting so spoiled right now, and we're definitely probably gonna have to stop at some point. But like, I mentioned like the boiled chicken I made for Judy, and I still like I like made a batch of it, and so he's been getting a little bit of that with his meals, which he doesn't normally get. He's been getting to like lay in our bed with us, even though we don't normally, we haven't really ever let either of the dogs sleep in bed with us. And so, well, we still don't let him sleep. We do eventually, like, make him go to his own dog bed, but he's just getting spoiled and loved on, because I love him. Because I love him. I think I should probably just leave it there. I don't plan on like editing too much stuff with this, but I will say I will leave a link in the pinned comment to the 20 minutes of chill vibes with Judy Lou Who, and I'll also leave a link to the video where I introduced her to the channel. It is funny because I do know that in that video I said something along the lines of like, I don't anticipate Judy being in a ton of my videos or anything, and she really just like became like such a part of the show and a star of the show. So yeah, I don't know. That's all I have. Thanks for loving Judy. I really appreciate it. And I'll be back soon enough. Just trying to get back to like some level of normal, if that's okay. Because that will honestly help me. I need to stop sitting around and just doing nothing. I need to be productive with my time and day. So I'll be back with some videos soon. And thanks so much for all of your support. I love you all so much, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.